Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another interview on the Jackcast. Today, I'm here with Tay Ellis, four-star Nebraska recruit. So, first off, Tay, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Pretty solid. All right, Tay. So, you've built a strong name for yourself already. When did you first realize that football can, really take you somewhere?
I think for me, I first realized that football could probably take me somewhere was my eighth grade year. My eighth grade year, I was at Richard J. Alley Middle School here in Crowley, Texas, and I got an offer from UTSA. So I think that was like a pivotal moment in my career where I knew that football could really take me somewhere.
Was UTSA your first offer?
Yeah, it was.
Okay. All right. But how would you describe your game to, let's say, someone who's, never seen, your highlights or any of your plays before?
Yeah, if I'm being honest with you, I think that I would describe my game as electric and fun. I think that I'm a pretty fun player to watch. Just what I'm doing when I don't have the ball, right? Constantly blocking, constantly being a positive role model to the team, and then what I do on the sidelines. I'm always getting up dancing. I'm always energetic. So I would say that describes my personality as well as my play on the field.
What do you think separates you, from other receivers, in the 2027 class, but, overall, yeah, the overall class too.
Yeah, I think the main thing that except well, I think the main thing would probably have to be my mindset, right? I think I understand the football aspect beyond reach, right? I think I understand the different coverages, the different defensive linemen that I'm going against. I just understand the game more than most people.
I mean, I've seen your highlights, your explosiveness for sure jumps off the tape. Where does that playmaking ability come from?
I think the playmaking ability coming from just when I was a little kid, right? I always used to run track. I always used to run. I love running. Like I said, my personality, I'm very outgoing. I'm very energetic. So my playmaking ability, like when I had a ball in my hands, it just matches. It just goes along with my character and who I am as a person.
What would you say is like the most underrated part about, your game that, that most people don't, notice enough?
Most underrated. I don't really think I have an underrated part. I think that me being able to go get the ball is kind of underrated. I don't think people really believe that I could catch those 50-50 balls and be that 50-50 6'4" receiver. But I can. I can do it all.
Do you think that I mean, you just said that catching 50-50 balls, but what else? Like what improvements specifically have you made in your game recently?
I think I understand the defensive structure. It's a lot of different shit, the defense that you get here in Texas, right? So I've been playing Texas high school football since I was a freshman. It was kind of hard, playing varsity as a freshman in Texas just because you get 4-2-5, you get 3-3-5, these different formations. You get different shades of cover two. You get cover two shell with they roll one safety into the box and then they show one high safety, so cover three initially. But you get all these different, variations of coverage that most people just can't understand, right? So I think that, throughout the seasons of my career, I definitely improved on just understanding the whole defense.
What do you see like the toughest challenge you face, during your football journey, especially in high school so far?
In high school, well, I think that the toughest journey, the toughest part of this journey was starting off on a bench. I got criticized. I got criticized a lot. Right, I played Pee Wee football, little league football, some might say, and I started off on a bench. Didn't really get to get in the game. Didn't play a lot. Played offensive lineman, and not just being super athletic, not being super good, but I just waited my turn. I started being patient. So I think that's the biggest.
I mean, I know you're at Crowley, right? Or you're moving. So you moved from Crowley to Millard South. I know Millard South is in Nebraska. So
Yeah.
how did that move, impact you both personally and, also as a player?
Well, it impacted me personally because it's not easy having like your whole family move to a different state just because of object, right? I don't think that's easy on nobody, right? But I think that mentally, I think that is great. I think that it's a very new beginning that me and my family needed. I think that we needed to stop being uncomfortable. I mean, stop being comfortable in Texas and just start becoming, uncomfortable. So I think that it's a new journey, but I think that it's going to be really good.
I mean, now playing with Trey Taylor, I mean, I know you already have a strong connection with him from OT7 days, with the Cold Hearts. And, you're both committed to Nebraska. What is it
Yeah.
like to move to that state with him and, also eventually play high school football with him?
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't. I think that many people don't understand the real relationship that we have because I think that many people believe that it's not authentic. Well, I think many people believe that it's authentic on the field. I don't think people really know how true our friendship is off the field. So it's just like moving anywhere with your best friend. I mean, that's just crazy.
I mean, what's your message to him specifically and all the players and teams will be facing, once you move to Nebraska and, play high school football there?
Yeah, my message for him is let's go win a state championship. One, and the message to everybody else is be ready.
Um, I mean, you said, you're moving to Nebraska from Texas. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. What about like the state of Nebraska outside of, Nebraska football and outside of Trey influence really like your the decision really?
I think the people, right? So when I was talking to Coach Rule, he told me why he got a contract. Well, he told me why he, wanted to stay when he was getting his contract extension, and he said because of the people, right? He always preaches like the people make the place, and when he said that, I didn't really know what he was talking about at the time, right? But when I was just casually, walking down the street in Lincoln, a person just bumped up to me randomly. He didn't know me from a can of paint, right? We just had a full conversation. I don't think you can have that at a lot of different places, right? It's a lot of culture that's built in Nebraska that I just love. So I think the people really made will influence my decision.
Did Coach Rule, talk to you a bit about his Panther days and, other receivers that he thinks you're like and why he wanted to bring you into the program?
Well, I know he wanted me to bring me into to one win and to two play early. He never talked about his Panther days like that, and he still hasn't told me my comparison to any receiver that he has coached or has experience, but I'm pretty sure he will.
Yeah. Who else on the Nebraska coaching staff, you know, have you talked to and have any of them told you about, your future?
Coach Schwartz, which is my position coach, and Keith Williams, which is the director of recruiting. They're always consistently talking to me. Right, we talk about football every single day, and we get personal as well. But those are my guys. They definitely tell me about my game after many different but greats. But yeah.
How important would you say like player development, in your recruiting decision?
Um, I don't think player development had a big issue on me. It's because I've been here. I've been understanding defensive structure since my freshman year. Right? I've been training since my freshman year. Right? I've been getting a grasp of football. So I don't really think that was super big on my decision.
You talked about wanting to help build something special for Nebraska, but um, how were you motivated to choose Nebraska, and what do you think is going to make Nebraska elite?
Yeah, well, my motivation just comes from the people. I see the crazy fan base. They really want to win. I want to be a part of it. I think that what's going to make us is elite team at the top of the top is probably our recruiting. I think that in the coming years we will outrecruit some of the best college teams there is.
I want to talk more about like your OT7 experience. So
Hmm.
first off, were like Cold Hearts like the only team that wanted you to play for them? Were there other teams? Like why did you choose the Cold Hearts?
To be honest, I just like Trey was playing with them. I was like Trey wanted me to come play. I just came and played.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite moment from playing with the Cold this year?
Not really. I think that I had great moments that I can recall. I think that it was really fun.
I think the Cold are out of the playoffs, right?
I have no idea.
Uh, like, if you were to choose any other team to root for, let's say the Gold don't make it, who do you think's gonna win it all, and who you rooting for?
I know, I don't really watch 7-on-7 like that, or like I'm not too dialed in with OT7 and things like that. I don't really pay attention to actual football in a sense. I really do not care who wins, if I'm being
Yeah. Um, I mean that's interesting. Like it's kind of funny because I've talked to a few OG7 players. I've talked to owners. I feel like the owners honestly care more about 7-on-7 than the players. Like I just interviewed you know some California receiver who plays for Team Uno. And he was telling me how he doesn't know how Team Uno's in it or not in the playoffs, and he's rooting for one of the California teams if Team Uno's not in it, but like he doesn't care that much either. So I feel like it's more the owners who really care. You think so?
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, what like we talk about Rule how he tell you about his Carolina days or like any NFL receivers that you look like, but what NFL receivers for you specifically do you study the most and that you want to be like, eventually when you play at Nebraska, this year in Nebraska for high school football, and also maybe eventually in the NFL?
I studied a lot of different receivers. I studied mainly route runners, right? So I studied Devontae Adams. I studied Jamar Chase. Studied Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill. I studied quite a few receivers. I think I really studied them all. I don't mind my name after anybody. Like, I'm not my name after myself. I always wanted to be like myself. I always wanted to be better than me the next day, right? I think that for me, it's like those guys are in my profession, right? So I want to be the best in my profession. So I don't try to model my game after anybody because I'm unique. I'm me.
I mean, it's pretty cool to hear because I've talked to other receivers too, and they give me a whole list of names, but they never really say that they just really want to be themselves. And I think that's unique about you, how I just want to develop at your own pace, and eventually, I think you could play, great at Nebraska and eventually in the NFL. So, but yeah, do you have a favorite NFL team?
Baltimore Ravens.
Really?
Yes, a
I-
lot of Baltimore Ravens.
Is it because of Lamar or maybe Zay
I've
Flowers?
I've been loving them since Joe Flacco.
Oh,
I've been
really?
loving them since Ray Lewis.
Yeah. I mean, the Ravens are a pretty good team. Like you see their new uniforms?
The I haven't are they all black?
Well, no, they got all new uniforms.
No, I haven't seen them. I haven't seen Ohio State's new uniforms. I haven't seen
The Ravens ones are pretty clean. But yeah, like a biggest influence, on your football journey?
biggest influence. Hmm. Probably have to say my mom and my grandpa had the biggest influence on football.
Yeah. What would you say motivates you every day, when no one's watching? Like, what makes you put in all like the extra work and all of the time to be great?
Why? Because I want it. I think that when you have a willpower and when you want something, like, that is you in a brave way, you're gonna be successful. So my why is just because I want to do it. I've always had that drive ever since I was young. Right? People always find me out. People always told me I couldn't do this and I couldn't do that. And just because I wanted it, I went and did that. Right? I think that whenever I put something in my mind, if I want it, I'm gonna achieve that no matter what people think.
What's your biggest goal heading into, this upcoming season, in Nebraska?
Break every single record there is for a receiver and just a player in general. I want to break every single record.
It's pretty cool. I mean, I hope you achieve that. But would you say you focus more on individual goals, or really team success?
Team success for sure. Just because if the team is successful, then I'm successful. I really could care less about me personally, even though I want to break every single record, but I'd rather have a state championship ring.
I mean, you said, what would a state championship really mean to you? I know playing with Trey, being Nebraska now, like you think that'll, really help you a lot, or do you think is it, that important?
It's very important, just because it's something that I want. Right? I think I want a state championship way more than I want to be, way more than I want, my own personal success. Just because when I, do something great, then the team shines, right? It's not a lot of exposure on Nebraska high school football. So us winning a state championship, me and Trey, will give Nebraska football that exposure. Will give my teammates as much exposure as I once had or once wanted to have.
I mean, about winning a state championship, like you're gonna have to go through some tough players. But, I mean, you're probably, pretty prone to this already at playing in Texas. So who's been the toughest player you've had to go up against, whether that's DB, maybe you were a quarterback for a play and the D lineman was coming at you or anything?
Uh, Definitely Devin Sanchez, who is a five-star plus and commits to Ohio State. He actually plays for Ohio State right now and starts at Ohio State. He
Yeah.
was definitely the hardest I had to play on my first year.
Did you what was that matchup like? Like, did you catch any balls against him? Did he beat you on every route?
No, I didn't catch any balls against him. I beat him on a goal ball. My quarterback underthrew it a little. He deflected it. But other than that, no. I mean, I had a great game against North Shore, which is the team he plays for down in Texas, who has one of the best.
Yeah, I mean, what advice would you say is, like, the best that did I mean, first of all, did he give you any advice, Devin Sanchez?
Teams.
No?
He just wanted me to come to Ohio State. That's my
What about any coach, what's, like, the best advice that coach has given you?
can't. I can't remember. I think the best advice that I have been given in general would probably be being patient.
Mhm. You know,
And
like, do you know who told you that or
a lot of people do tell me to stay patient. My mom and to be specific.
yeah. Um, yeah, 5 years from now, when you are finishing up, your career at Nebraska or maybe somewhere else, whatever, where do you see yourself?
Um, 5 years. See myself being a very successful businessman.
What kind of legacy do you wanna see, yourself, Tay Ellis, to leave behind?
That he was a genuine person. That he was very outgoing. He was funny. He always had a smile on his face no matter what was going on. And he truly just enjoyed every aspect of life that he could.
That's awesome. Alright, so for my last question, I just wanna ask, like, for all the Nebraska fans, what do you want to tell them as a four-star recruit?
That I'm going to be the bench receiver in the history.
I love that. Alright, thank you so much for coming on, Tay. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you, my guy.
Alright.